Australia. Welcome to Australia. The official name of Australia is the Commonwealth of Australia, but Australians call their land Oz. It is a place so unique. It might have come from a fantasy story rather than real life. Australia is the world's largest island. Australia is the only country that is also a continent. In fact, it is the smallest and flattest continent. Australia has beautiful beaches and amazing wildlife. It is also a country with a fascinating and troubling history. The first European colony on Australia was a group of prisoners sent from Great Britain. The impact of colonization has been far-reaching for the first humans who lived in Australia, the island's indigenous peoples, located in the southern hemisphere or half of Earth. Australia is south of the equator, so it has the opposite seasons of places north of the equator. When it is winter in Europe, North America, and in some areas of South America, it is summer in Australia. June through August is winter in Australia. Read to learn more about the country, the continent, and the island called the land down under. The land. Australia is the sixth largest country in the world. It is as large as the United States, not counting Hawaii and Alaska. The continent covers 7,692,024 square kilometers of land. The Indian Ocean borders Australia on the west and south, while the Pacific Ocean surrounds the northern and western edges. Australia has three main areas: the Western Plateau, the Central Lowlands, and the Eastern Highlands. The Western Plateau, covering 2/3 of Australia, is a flat, dry desert area with hot weather. Scientists have found the world's oldest rock in the Western Plateau. Dry grasslands are found in the Central Lowlands, where it is hot all year during the day but can be very cold at night. The Great Dividing Range, part of the Eastern Highlands, is home to rivers, valleys, and Australia's highest mountains. Australia has diverse habitats, including deserts, freshwater, coastal sea, grasslands, wetlands, rainforests, and heathlands. Heathlands areas are usually coastal, with low plants covering the ground due to spraying salt water and poor soil. Northern Australia has a tropical climate, while the southeastern and southwestern areas are mostly mild. The middle of the country is mainly desert. Most areas in Australia have very few people living in them. Today, around 90% of Australians living in cities, mainly along the coast. In Australia, most cities are located long distance from one another. Canberra is Australia's capital city. Sydney is its largest city with a population of more than 5 million. The underpopulated areas of Australia are mostly in the huge dry inland area known as the outback. The outback has enormous deserts as well as some mountainous regions. The landscape seems to stretch on forever. Rain may not fall there for years at a time. Towns in the outback typically amount to just a few buildings and are spread far apart. Some residents of the outback live and work on enormous ranches called stations, which are actually larger than some small country. Other people work in mining and oil production. The people. Thousands of years ago, Australia was home to many indigenous peoples. Some experts estimate that around 1 million indigenous people live in Australia, although others estimate a lower number. After the British colonized the continent, it was changed forever. Today, Australia is a nation with more than 25 million inhabitants. In 2020, around 91% of Australians were white and 7% were Asian. Less than 3%, or around 750,000 people, were indigenous peoples. History. Two distinct groups are considered indigenous Australian, Aboriginal peoples from the mainland of Australia and Torres Strait Islanders, who live on a group of islands north of Australia. After 50,000 years of living in Australia, the lives of indigenous people came to a stark halt in the 17th century. Europeans began to explore and colonize their land. The British saw Australia as a way to solve the problem of overcrowding in British prisons. In 1788, a panel of convict colony, a settlement of prisoners, arrived in Australia from England. The first settlement has around 759 prisoners, 568 men and 191 women, 200 soldiers and 40 wives and children of the soldier. They live in tents and ate native animals as well as food sent from islands. Before the British colonized the land, indigenous people belonging to more than 500 different groups with their own distinct language and cultures lived in Australia. Between 1788 and 1798, an estimated 19% of Australia's indigenous population was killed, either during violent encounters in the British or from disease brought by the colonizers. Indigenous people continually resisted the stealing of their lands. They maintained their cultures, language, and traditions. Although the population of Aboriginal and Torres Strait Islander people has dropped to about 117,000 by 1901, the population has since risen to around pre-colonization numbers. Wildlife. Australia's history also affected wildlife population as cities have expanded. Natural areas have grown smaller, making habitats and food scarce from some animals. Because of their continued isolation and harsh conditions, animals found nowhere else on Earth have made their home in Australia. Many of Australia's mammals are marsupials, such as kangaroos and wallabies. These animals give birth to tiny, helpless babies that must live in a pouch pocket in its mother's body while continuing to develop. Most marsupials disappeared long ago on other continents. South America still has some, but Australia's isolation allowed many types of marsupials to thrive. Scientists aren't exactly sure why. One idea has to do with marsupials having little competition for food. Their shorter pregnancies might have also given them an advantage. The platypus is an animal unique to Australia. It has 4 legs, fur, beady eyes, a toe like a beaver's, duck bills, and web feet. Adult males have venomous spurs on the back ankles. Although a platypus is an animal, females lay eggs. One of Australia's most extraordinary places is the Great Barrier Reef, which is located off the coast of northern Australia, the largest coral reef system in the world. It is home to more than 1,500 types of fish, 2,000 kinds of coral and other sea creatures, sea plants and birds. Climate change, fishing, coastal construction, and runoff water from the land carrying pollutants are all major threats to the reef. Many people are working to save the Great Barrier Reefs. Things to do. The sun is usually shining in Australia. Visit to the beach and time spent out on the water. Swimming, surfing, snorkeling, scuba diving, and boating are typical activity for many Australians. Shark Bay, Australia's largest bay, is on the western part of the island and home to an incredible area of wildlife. The western area's Kimberley region has breathtaking gorge, rocky shore, waterfalls, rivers, and beaches. Bunny Beach is the southern near Sydney. It's one of the world's most famous beaches with its beautiful white sand. A 3 or 4 day train journey across the entire continent takes visitors through Australia's different habitats to see breathtaking sights, such as the rocky peaks and gorge of the Flinders Range in the outback. Trips to explore the outback never disappoint. Visitor hikes, discover wildlife, and swim in white water holes. Uluru, the largest monolith or single rock, is the site of the Amangu peoples. It is located about 200 miles west of Alice Springs. It's a region called Red Central. Sydney is an important destination in Australia. Visitors enjoy the City Harbour and the Sydney Harbour Bridge, the largest steel arch bridge in the world. They also take in the beauty of one of the most famous modern buildings, the Sydney Opera House. Down under, Australia's extremely isolated location has allowed it to develop in many unique ways. The island is celebrated for its natural beauty as well as its special titles as the world's biggest islands and the only country to also be a continent. Much about the land down under, from its unique creatures to its incredible landscapes, is unlike any place out on Earth.